So, what is it that makes a ghost story really, truly scary? It's not just about the jump scares or the monster, it's the setup, right? The lies, that slow, creeping feeling of dread. Today, we're going to pull apart a classic horror tale, the Pishachini, and see exactly what makes it tick. We're going to look at the anatomy of fear itself. Let's get into it.
The story starts with a grandfather telling his grandkids this really chilling line. And look, this isn't just a clever way to begin a story. It's designed to pull us in, right now. From the very first second, we're not just watching. The story knows we're here, and it makes you wonder, who else is listening?
Okay, so the tale kicks off on a dark and stormy night. I mean, you can't get more classic than that, right? This whole first part is designed to do just one thing, make our main character, and by extension us, feel completely and utterly alone and vulnerable.
So, meet Ramlal. He's our guy. The story just yanks everything familiar away from him. There's this brutal storm, a fog so thick he can't see his own hand. These aren't just bad weather. They're tools to isolate him, to cut him off from everything. He's totally hopeless. And that's when he sees it, that classic glimmer of false hope, a single light way off in the distance.
That light leads him to this lonely house, where an old woman offers him a place to stay. She's got a story already, too, a village fire that explains why they live so far out. It sounds tragic, not suspicious at all. So for Ramlal, this place is a miracle, a safe harbor. But for us, watching this, oh man, every horror movie instinct we have is just screaming. The trap is officially set.
All right, the stage is set. Now the story brings in its central mystery. And this is where things get really twisted, where simple kindness gets turned into a weapon, and the real deception kicks into high gear.
So Ramlal leaves the next morning. He actually never even met the daughter. But he doesn't get far down the road when he finds a young woman just crying her eyes out. And who is it? It's Maya, the daughter from the house. And boy, does she have a story for him.
And this is where the story plays a brilliant trick. Maya spins this absolutely tragic tale about a lion attack that killed her mother, leaving her totally orphaned. To Ramlal, she's the perfect victim. It triggers every single protective instinct he has. He's not looking at a liar. He's looking at someone he feels like he has to save.
And right here, completely overcome with pity, Ramlal does the one thing you never, ever do in a horror story. He invites the monster into his home. In his mind, he's being a hero, offering a new life to this poor girl. But what he's really doing is leading the danger right back to his own front door.
Maya says yes, she'll come with him, but she says it with this one line that just kind of hangs in the air. Once I leave, I will never return. For Ramlal, it sounds like she's ready for a fresh start, but for us, it sounds way more like a vow, you know? It's this perfectly chilling bit of foreshadowing that hints she's leaving something way more sinister behind.
So now the story shifts. We're moving away from the spooky, isolated jungle to the safety of the village. But here's the thing. The danger isn't about the location anymore. It's about the person he brought with him. The horror has followed him home.
The second they get there, you can feel that things are off. The village headman welcomes Maya but gives this weirdly specific warning about evil being active during storms like the one they just had. Ramlal's own mother is immediately suspicious of this girl, who just appeared out of nowhere. The seeds of doubt are planted, and they start to grow that very night when Ramlal sees Maya sneaking back into the house, soaking wet, with a really flimsy excuse. His safe little home is already starting to feel not so safe.
And the very next morning, that unease turns into pure terror. A villager is found dead, but this isn't just any death. The body, it's wrong. It's unnaturally pale, as if every last drop of life and energy has been just sucked out of him, leaving nothing but an empty shell. This is the big turning point. A village elder sees the body and connects it to these ancient, scary stories. Stories about a creature called a Pishachini, a demon that literally drains the life force from its victims. The story just shifted gears. This isn't just a mystery anymore. Now it's a monster hunt. They finally have a name for their fear.
And that's the final straw for Ramlal. The warnings, his mom's fear, Maya's constant lies, it all comes crashing down with this horrifying death. His pity is finally washed away by suspicion. He has to know the truth. He just has to. So that night, he follows her out into the darkness. He follows her into the night, his heart just hammering in his chest, his mind racing with just one single terrifying question. What is her secret?
And the answer is absolutely horrifying. Hiding behind a tree, Ramlal watches as Maya corners another farmer, and her face, it just transforms.
It's not human anymore. These strange marks appear all over her skin, and her eyes start to glow this deep, terrifying red. He watches in pure horror as she attacks the man, and he knows his worst fears were true. The woman he saved, the woman he brought into his home, is a monster.
So, the monster is out in the open, and the story changes again. It's not a mystery anymore. Now it's a classic showdown. It's good versus evil. It's human faith going up against a timeless, ancient demon. Now, before we go any further, it's really important to know what exactly they're dealing with here. A Pishachini, in Hindu folklore, is a female demon that eats flesh. They're famous for being able to shapeshift, and they are purely evil. So let's be clear. This isn't some misunderstood ghost. This is a predator.
So Ramlal runs to the elders and tells them everything, and I love their response. They don't panic. They turn to their faith, to their traditions. They come up with a clear plan of action. First, Ramlal has to tell everyone the truth. Second, they need to ask for divine help from the goddess Kali. Third, get a weapon from her. And finally, fourth, use that weapon to face this evil head-on.
So Ramlal goes to the temple and he prays, and in this incredible moment, the goddess Kali actually appears to him. She gives him a sacred mantra, basically a holy chant that will be his shield and his weapon. Armed with this divine power, he goes back home to finally confront Maya.
He faces her and he tells her he knows what she is. She transforms, ready to attack, but Ramlal starts chanting the mantra, and the words themselves become like a holy fire, literally burning the demon. She's in agony. She's forced to run, but not before screaming one last terrifying promise at them.
And just like that, we're back with the grandfather and his grandkids. The tale is over, but the story isn't. Not quite. He has one final warning, not just for the kids in the room, but for us, too.
He finishes his story with this little piece of advice. He tells them, lock your windows tight, because on nights like this, with the storm and the fog, voices often lose their way. It's such a brilliant, scary way to blur that line between the story and the real world, making you feel like the danger he just described could literally wander right up to your own window.
So the tale is done, but that feeling of unease, that sticks around. Remember what the grandfather said at the very beginning? Some stories recognize their listeners. After hearing this story about a predator hiding in plain sight, you kind of have to ask yourself, what stories are listening to you tonight?